Hello. Sorry I missed you on Monday, but I'm here today or tonight. I think it's after midnight. Oh, almost. It's 11:30. I'm gonna be reading again from my dictionary of psychology, and I think what did I want to do today? Social psychology. I'm trying to find a good book for to do some classes on. I think I might go to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been reading the Gnostic Bible, so I might do some passages on this. Maybe next week I'll start doing reading a few things out of this. It's really good. It's really good. Uh, it's a part of it's a form of Christianity that probably I can't say that more people like us would like um, more thoughtful people who like thought and like concepts I should say not thoughtful but more conceptual based people would like the Gnostic Bible. All the mystic teachings are better than are better. So I'm pretty sure Sufi Islam is probably better. Kabbalah is probably better, and the Gnostics is better. Um, it just goes deeper. But I guess the other religious texts and religious traditions allow more for social conformity, which is a kind of stabilization. I guess it's not the kind I like. Um, let's see. Let's do social. Let's do social mind and social psychology. Let's do that. All right. So, social mind. One, the group mind, a hypothetical construct invoked to explain behavior that cannot be explained in terms of the sum total of the characteristics of the individuals who make up the group. Two, the typical or average level of opinion in a given community. So there's group mind, um, which really is the dominant mind. You think it's your individual mind. It's a group mind. Lately, and my group, Black Americans, and I guess maybe you could say working class Black Americans, which has always been most of Black people in the United States. We're workers. We've always been workers. We were enslaved to work. We've always worked. Even if you look at our quote unquote billionaires, they work. So Oprah works. She works like Bezos and Bill Gates don't work. They don't work like her. She has to actually go to work. She has to show up at studios and do interviews and do those kinds of things. Bill Gates doesn't have to do anything if he knows money. He'd take a year off. Bezos doesn't have to do anything. He could play golf, do anything. Um, Even like somebody like Trump doesn't have to work. He can go play golf, can do this, do that. Black people work. So one of the things in our group in our community now I've been seeing online um, is this rap beef between Kendrick and Drake, and everybody's talking about it and what does it mean for hip hop and so on and so forth. And then the criticism is that while Macklemore is talking about Palestine, these two are doing rap beefs, ripping each other down. But that's what rap beefs are. Rap beefs are just it's a genre, it's a subgenre of the hip hop, of rap, of the art form. Just like you have jazz and acid jazz and what's the more light jazz? But you know what I mean. Different genres of it. Big band. Battle is a part of rap. You have battle rap, you have conscious rap, you have dance rap, and you even have, um, I can guess humorous rap. you know. So, but it's not a big deal for us to be talking about it, but people are talking about it. Another thing I've been seeing a lot in the last few days is uh, the conversation between black women and men about um, things like what do you bring it to the table, and of course there's leveling up and snow bunnies, and black men want snow bunnies, black women wanting white men so they're bedwinters, and the group. See, our group is out of its mind. You'd have to be out of your mind to care about those things when we're actually dying as a group. We're dying. I'm going to so many more funerals, and I'm 53, so I'm going to have more. But then when I was young, I went to a lot of funerals. There was funeral every day in the 1980s, 1990s, during the crack era. So when I'm my teenage years, a lot of funerals. What they call a genocide was happening to us. Now it's a lot of funerals. Some of the funerals are shootings, but a lot of them are heart attacks and strokes and all this other stuff like that. And so while the group is talking about what I consider frivolous stuff, relationships on a very surface level, we're not dealing with the fact that we're dying. We're being ground into mulch. And I say mulch because they're grinding, using us human beings for mulch because we're too poor for funerals, and they're running out of space to bury us, and burning us creates too much pollution. So now they're grinding a lot of human bodies that are too poor, and they're turning them into mulch, and they said we make good mulch. So while that's happening, we're having these, what I consider minor at best, silly at worst conversations. That's a group thing. And you all get sucked up into it because I look at it and then I have my response to it like, all right, that's silly. We have real issues. So that's a thing. You have a social mind. Right now, the United States mind, if it has a mindset, it never really had one mindset, but it's fractured, it's broken. Someone was telling me the other day, my ex-wife was saying, there's so many broken people in this world. So many. And I'll admit I'm one of them. But, you try to work through it the best way you can. It's not always easy. All right, let's do the definition of social psychology. The branch of psychology concerned with psychological processes that occur in groups. It deals with the behavioral interaction of individuals within groups and the interaction between groups. The social psychologist emphasizes those concepts that are derived from the study of individual behavior, whereas the sociologist tends to emphasize concepts derived from the study of institutions and groups. Institutions are made of people, and people are driven by their mindset. So there really is no difference. There is free borrowing of problems and concepts among sociologists, psychologists, and anthropologists, which is right. Me, I go to psychologists because the mind decides everything we do. What your mindset is. Are you in your mind or are you out of your mind? Have you expanded your mind or you have a regression in your mind? And that has effects on every single thing. It has everything on your physical self. And because human beings are the dominant species on this planet, it affects and has it can cause problems with the rest of the planet. Right. So our minds are very powerful. They can cause great evolutionary shifts, and they can cause extinction. It all depends. And I'm always into social psychology, always watching, learning from my group and other groups. And then groups break down. So you have a black group, which I am because of my color. We live in a society that's very colorist. Um, it's a former plantation society, and I mean former. It's been a it's been a plantation society until 2020. Yeah, I do mean 2020. I think 2020 was the kind of official end of the plantation with the Great Reset, and we moved into, I don't know what you would call, you can call it a new world order, but just a new kind of paradigm. And it's not plantation. It looks more like a feudalist kind of thing, but it's not completely that. Um, a lot of people are having problems adapting to it, and so I just call it the Great Reset Society, uh, where a lot of things like this, a lot of power is in the hands of people, but been conditioned to follow the ruling class. I think the ruling class gave up the power of management because I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think they even want the responsibility of managing us too much anymore. They've driven us so insane with their madness that now everyone's just confused. And you have some people wanting to still trying to function on the plantation. It's almost like the momentum of plantationism is still around, but then the Great Reset is there, the new society is there, so we're moving away from plantationism, but the residue is still there, the scars are still there, the brokenness is still there, and now is how do you repair people enough so that you can really transform into a new society? Because you can't transform into a new society when 60%, 70% of your people are broken. They're just going to drag, or we're just going to drag the rest of you all down. So that's the social project, that's the social duty, or that's the social move, or the project, I guess is the best way to do it for the next few years. I want to say, to give you an example of how I do it, I was on the train, and this train goes to the air train, which goes to Kennedy Airport. And a foreigner, white foreigner, missed the stop. He jumped up, but the door was closed. And he was saying, I couldn't understand his English at first, but then he said Sutphin. I said, oh, Sutphin Boulevard. That's the stop you just missed. And I saw he had bags, and I said, you going to the airport? He said, yes. I said, oh, get off the next stop, cross over, take the train back one stop. So we rode to the next stop. He got up. I said, yeah, just go underneath, come back on the other platform, go back. He said, thank you. I said, have a safe flight. He put his thumb up. And when he got off, I looked, because I always look to see who's getting on the train, who's not. And I saw a black guy sitting across, and he was watching the whole conversation. And the look he had on his face is like, man, why are you talking to the white people like that? It was a weird, but I have these encounters all the time. And it wasn't like, why you kissing up? Because I wasn't kissing up to the guy. It's just a normal conversation. I do this with anybody. When, they ask me something or something's happened, and I've had conversations with black people, white people. I had a conversation with a Middle Eastern person one time, and the black guy's looking at me like, oh man, you talking to him like that? You like, man, And so I just, took that in, thought about that. It's like, wow, we don't even know how to talk to anybody else. Some of us have such an inferiority complex that we don't realize we're just as much as human beings as everybody else. I don't care what you got or don't have. You're still a human being. And that's very difficult, I find, for people socially to understand it's a human being. So you have human beings who are geniuses. You have human beings who are drug addicts. You have human beings who are intelligent. You have human beings who are creative. You have human beings who are alcoholics. You have human beings who have depression. You have human beings who have anxiety. On and on and on. But human being is first. Right? So when I see someone sleeping on the bench or sleeping on the train, I don't see a bum. I see a human being that doesn't have a place to stay. And then my mind goes into how many empty apartments are in New York City while that person doesn't have a way to stay. So that's the way we must think if we're going to survive. If my group is going to survive, if all the groups are going to survive. Because at the end of the day, though we break down into different groups, we are human beings, different tribes of human beings. And we better figure out how to first develop tribalism that's based on real things, not race and colorism, but skills, talents, and those kinds of things. And we kind of do that, but those should be more dominant than false things like race and colorism and all that. And then we need to learn how to have each tribe know how to get along with other tribes, which is what I always call cooperative tribalism. It's okay to have your group, but you still have to understand there's a larger group. And we learn those things, we'll be fine. Our minds will be better. And I think if you pursue what some people call greater mind, where you're expanding your mind and trying to be more thoughtful, then you will automatically know, okay, we have different groups, and I can see different angles, and I can see how they come to those conclusions. I can see all the different views of reality, because reality is one. There's one reality, as far as we know, but there's many different ways to experience it. And so a lot of times when people say my truth, no, it's not your truth. It's the truth the way you're experiencing it. And that gets confusing. If you have a person that has a truth that's separate from the truth, then they're not connected to any kind of truth or reality at all, for the most part. So, dictionary psychology, my good old friend, and maybe, like I said, I'll do the Gnostic Bible. I was trying to do something on economics, but the book I got, I don't like it. It's not, doesn't give me what I want. I want to do something to explain some of these economics. So maybe I'll get a book on MMT. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. Until next time, take care of yourself, and please be safe. Oh, and hit the links, support the work. I need you. And I appreciate those of you who comment, and I always answer the comments. I don't get that many, so I always answer them, and the subscribers, and I appreciate all of your support and all of your help. Thank you.